Hey, welcome to Dollar Views. I'm Brian Gillis.
And I'm Stephen Montmanex.
We're just a couple of Long Beach State film grads with a lifelong passion for cinema trying to put our money where our mouths are.
And we decided to make our BAs mean something by offering our spoiler-free take on the latest film releases.
Plus, any other media we've ingested over the past week.
Whether that's the latest buzzworthy show,
An album that's been on constant rotation,
that indie darling no one can shut up about,
a cute romantic comedy,
or the latest Michael Bay masterpiece.
we go over it all. $1 at a time.
AM questions.
I got a question, Doc. Why'd I believe phones over here heard the goddamn word you said? He ain't even listening. Baby?
The target is an armored truck at Perimeter Trust in Dunwoody, 10 a.m. sharp. The switch car is ready, but you want me to hit the long stay parking structure and get a heist vehicle that stays colder longer? It needs to be ready for an 8:30 start. Questions?
I'm gonna need you behind the wheel again.
One more job and I'm done.
One more job, and we're straight.
Why is he listening to music all the time?
He had an accident when he was a kid.
He's got mental problems.
I'm the one got the mental problems in the crew. Position taken.
What is your name?
Baby.
Your name's Baby. B-A-B-Y, baby.
In this business, the moment you catch feelings is the moment you catch a bullet.
It's been a while since I've been away. Just staying this with a bad opening joke. We've missed a couple movies even though I've seen them or you've seen them, but let's come back for one that is a shared filmmaker that we both revere. And
Who
I
doesn't
I
at
want to
this point?
see.
If you're on the internet and listening to this, how do you not love Edgar Wright's movies?
He kind of is one of our, even if he's not from here, like unsung populist heroes. Like people are aware of his films, especially on the internet. It's like, oh, do you like Shaun the Dead or Scott Pilgrim versus the World? And
Hot
yet
Fuzz
he
might
doesn't
be the one
have.
that's seen by the most people, or at least you could
No.
direct people. Like I could just tell friends like to watch that when it was on Netflix, and they would watch it and they would dig it.
I have to rewatch that because I remember the first impression I was not that.
Oh,
fond
that's
of,
my
and
favorite one.
I think most of his films, besides Shaun the Dead, is equally true. I generally have to give him a rewatch just because he does so much in frame that you kind of are distracted by everything all at once. And this one is going to be similar to
I don't know. Hot Fuzz is kind of the opposite. Where it's like it works as a straightforward movie for me, and then you can appreciate the little touches throughout. But yeah, that's my favorite one.
I don't know which. Mine's probably Scott
I'll say this: Baby Driver is definitely in the top 5
because there's only 5. Well, unless you count A Fistful of Fingers, which I haven't seen.
I don't think
and
anyone
Don't.
has. Well, very few people have.
There's also Don't, which
That
I'm going
doesn't
to count.
count.
That's
No.
full on.
That's like a short,
It fucking
if anything.
counts. I would love to see.
All right, would
that
you
as
count
a
Spaced
movie.
then? Because then I can count. I'd put Spaced in there for sure. If you're going to count.
I haven't seen it. I've seen like an episode or two.
Spaced is good.
I'll find out. But Baby Driver's the one on hand. We just did Bullet for Debts of Cinema, which Baby Driver is very heavily influenced, both between the style, how cool the world is, and especially the car just angle. And it's noteworthy because my big problem during Bullet was that the car wasn't used enough, and in Baby Driver, it's kind of the same issue. Despite the name, despite the marketing,
It's more about the
how people
titular
are
driver
calling
behind
it
that wheel.
in both cases. Yeah. Which kind of, is cool, but also I really wish... Because this movie starts so fucking amazing. You have this kick-ass stunt. You have this car moment that happened, just like in the way that I was talking about Bullet off-air, maybe even on-air. I was like, what if it started, or better yet, ended with that chase?
Just building up to
and you
it.
get one... Yeah, you get one right
But
away. Like, it
it's not
literally
even-
darts out the
It's
starting
not even
line.
about the chase. It's that you focus on Baby and what's
You're
he
getting to
doing?
know
Yeah,
him and
he's
his music.
Like you know basically the main premise probably going into this. You know exactly like what his backstory
It's
is
a heist
because I'm
movie.
sure everyone's seen the trailer. But whenever you're in a car alone or if you're listening to music alone, just the little dumb things that you do when you don't think anyone's looking. Like,
Yeah.
that is
he's doing
so
them all.
fucking awesome that's how this movie begins, basically, is like that, and you can't help but just nod your head along as it's happening, and it's so fucking good.
Even better than that opening number, though, is the number that follows it. That opening title sequence, which is just like, not just a really great oneer, because it is the choreography involved, but the fact that it's almost like Edgar Wright is laughing at you and everyone else, like his filmmaking peers, because I don't know if you caught this shit, but lyrics to that song are written on the walls. literally either graffiti or pen, marker.
not.
And when he's walking past them, it says like, yeah, do this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's like a trumpet solo that happens in the song, and that's when he walks by a busker who's doing the solo himself. Like, I was sitting there riveted by the attention to detail, and that's when I knew that I had to see this again.
Like,
Whether
there was
it be
a
in
sense
theaters or
that
at
it
home,
was
I
so
had
detailed
to.
that like there had to be some, like, for some reason every
like,
single little touch in production design was there for whatever reason.
The friend I saw it with didn't catch it either. It, like, shocked me how on the dot it was. Like, because, once again, it's Baby's playing a song, and that's what it's like painting his world, and in much the way the rest of the film is the shootouts, the chases, the foot chases, the romance,
It's not just that
everything. It's all
sequence.
about
Like,
the music.
There's always like, the
flourishes.
rhythm and the editing. It's like, that's cool how
It's
it
pretty
works.
impressive.
But when they do it in camera, that's insane
Yeah.
how well that works. Like, I'm sure that they have to be
Especially-
playing the music on the set for the actors to hit their beats.
Yeah, I'm sure they mostly hate these songs now. I would have to imagine. I mean, I haven't made many movies, and I wouldn't even say I'm inspired by Edgar Wright when I did make these, but I too, am enamored by music, and it plays a large role in the movies that I make. And like, I actually just coincidentally was showing my girlfriend like the very first thing I ever filmed, like this short from high school, and it is in the same way kind of Baby Driver is like a long form music video. It's coincidentally me, I'm the subject, like putting music in. It starts, I'm listening to music, and then someone comes up and I pull one headphone out, and it does the same way in the theater did, where like the sound mix kind of equalizes and you can hear in the background but not really, and heaven forbid if they take out both, and it's like the same exact thing except the song keeps going just like in this movie. So I was watching this and I was just like, kindred spirits. It's a jukebox musical. You could even just say it's a musical. This is the continuation of what La La Land began last Christmas with. It's taking what you know about the musical and completely just subverting it and making it into something that's accessible by modern day culture. Like, how beautiful is it that it's not a jukebox musical, it's an iPod musical. Even if the iPod is kind of dead, but hey, Baby still loves his. Maybe in Atlanta things are a little bit different.
I mean, speaking of Atlanta, yeah, I mean, that was, I've never been there, but like, you just really get a cool sense of the place. So much so that I'm watching this, I feel like, man, I want to visit Atlanta at some point. Like, I want to go to some diner while I'm there.
I want to go to the South for sure. I kind of am not a fan of this British filmmaker, though, coming to America, going to the South, filming there, obviously for just filmmaking reasons because it's cheap. But then having an English actor star as someone who's supposed to be an Atlantan. A little weird.
Are you talking about Lily...
Ansel Elgort?
No, he's not
both
British.
Of them, actually. Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. Have you ever heard a British accent from him ever? Like, that dude's American.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. Is he American?
I'm pretty
Let's
sure,
find
yeah.
it out.
Manhattan, New
I know
York.
Lily James for sure.
Yeah, Lily
is
James,
definitely,
absolutely, yeah. No,
definitely,
Ansel
definitely.
Elgort's American.
I'm looking it up. Where's he from?
Manhattan, New York.
Is he really?
And, I mean, the accent
There's
works,
just something
man.
about his look.
What? Like his
when I see
cool,
him, I
confident
think-
look. He pulls it off, man. He carries this.
Well, not even when he's cool and confident. Like, even in The Fault in Our Stars, okay?
Yeah, what about it? Like,
I'm just saying, he's not cool and collected in that.
no,
I
but
didn't
that's
think
not
he
that
was
kind of
American.
movie at all.
No, I didn't think he was American in that movie, though.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, I know he is now, but I don't know. I just learned it's his fucking name. Probably it's a weird ass name.
it is. Yeah,
It really is.
It's a very posh.
But
name.
it's a name that it fits really well with the cast, because this is probably the best cast that Edgar Wright's ever assembled. You got John Hamm, Jamie Foxx, fucking Kevin Spacey, Ansel Elgort, Lily James. Who else? He's not in it long enough, but the Punisher.
Like, arguably, this is definitely, well, not arguably, this is the biggest cast that he's ever had, because everything else has been with the Cornetto trilogy with his buddies, or it
His
was
buddies.
Scott Pilgrim,
Like a one
with,
out- like,
like every
here's Timothy
rising
Dalton.
star that of this generation. Like, there was Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Jason Schwartzman. Like, definitely
Routh.
recognizable people, but no one as big as Kevin Spacey.
And it's great too, because Kevin Spacey hadn't been like in a heist / like crime movie in quite some time, unless you count like Margin Call. I mean, the last one that I can think of is pretty much him playing Lex Luthor. Like, obviously he started his career as Kaiser Sose.
Unless you count
I
House
guess
of
that's a
Cards, where he plays
spoiler.
a master manipulator.
It's different though when you're on a TV show, especially one that no one kind of watch anymore.
That's part of
it's what he's best at. This like kind of like squirrely, slimy dude who's in like control that you want to trust because he's so suave, and yet like he's a bad guy.
It's funny though. I mean, this cast is big, and yet this feels like the smallest Edgar Wright film, doesn't it? Like
it really is because like the stakes are pretty low.
Yeah, in fact, like not only that, honestly, it doesn't feel that much like an Edgar Wright film to me. It feels more like a Quentin Tarantino film, or kind of like a wannabe Quentin Tarantino film, like that.
I'd say more like wannabe. Like this felt a lot like Bullet, just with more heart. But then at the same time, this felt like an Edgar Wright film that was lacking that. Because maybe it's because he's working with his buddies in the past, and just the way that like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost bounce off of each other because they're actually best friends in real life. Mm-hmm. But I lack that sense of. I don't even know the correct term. Like
there's
the soul.
Not that like shared, just comedic energy that like everybody injects into those movies.
It's not electrifying.
Yeah,
it's like this film is electric. Just the camera usage, how it's mostly in camera. Like there's very little, if at all, computer generated imagery here. Like the little things, like when they're in the laundromat and you see the clothes spinning, and
the color.
It's like each one is a different color, but then it fades into a vinyl record actually spinning, and that's why it was red.
Those touches where it looks like Scott Pilgrim.
Mm-hmm. Like there's so many of these touches throughout. Just like the little dancing that Baby does, like in his apartment listening to music. How his roommate or foster dad is a deaf / hearing impaired mute person, and you get these cool subtitles that work.
It's mostly about the soundtrack too. Like there's very little dialogue in those scenes, and it's just it's just Baby's world and that's music. But another thing I really love just about this screenplay is the strongest thing about this movie are the characters, and that they're all very interesting right off the bat. Just given the circumstances, like, okay, Baby is a kick-ass driver. What makes him a kick-ass driver? Well, because he's able to, he has tinnitus, which makes him distinctive from all the other drivers. So he uses music just to distract himself and really focus and like just go work in tandem with whatever heist he's on. The guy has a deaf foster father. Little touches like that you just don't see in cinema that make it really interesting right off the bat.
Much in the same way that the American remake of Taxi taught me that I need music when I drive, I have a feeling that this film is going to do the same thing for other people.
I don't know if it truly is. Them that. It's something that makes it very easy to connect with, because I feel like that is most people now.
Well, literally, when I saw Taxi, I wasn't driving. That was like 2004 or whatever. And I just, it was something in my head. And if I don't have music, I seriously cannot drive. I cannot do it.
Yeah, this is the age where we all have music on our phones and we can link them up to our phones and play them. So, like this is very much a movie of now.
Not even just now. I mean, there are people that can listen to talk radio. There's people that listen to podcasts. Like, heaven forbid, there is someone out there in the world listening to us right now, wanting to know about Baby Driver while they're driving. I could not do that. Like, I need music. A lot of my life is to a rhythm. There is a cadence, and I need that when I'm driving, especially since a vehicle is something that may be mechanical, but it's also like orchestrated. Like the fact that you have the pistons going, you have the tires moving, you have the brakes, you have all these little different parts that kind of create a symphony in a car. And then when you're driving, you are the conductor, and that's what Baby Driver is here, literally. Like, he's picking the music and he's doing these things, and it's like Guillermo del Toro went on this Twitter, like, not rant, but praise streak when he saw this. And it's like 12 tweets long. And he has this quote where it's like something like, "This is an American Paris, but instead set in America with tire squealing and crack smoke," or like something like that, on a hot summer day. And he just goes on and on about how much he loved it. And I wish I was there with him, because I love how artful the film is, where it just feels skillless. Like, Edgar Wright just so happens to know how to make a movie like this nowadays, even if he did work on it for like 13 years or whatever.
Yeah. He had the idea since he did a music video. I think it was in 2003, which I saw it during the pre-show, actually, and it pretty much is the opening sequence. It's really cool.
Oh, wow.
For Mitt Royal's Blue Song. I'm pretty sure you can find it online, but yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. Just the way it opened, the dancing, the romance, how it was kind of like a little bit like True Romance, a little bit like Crazy at Heart. A little bit like Edgar Wright, but it doesn't. It's not a traditional one. These are star-crossed lovers. There's something up with that that's followed through, and you get these great details in the story. But I'm almost blindsided by how musically inclined this film is, and given how much I like music, especially in cinema. Like, if you look at this film's forefathers, such as American Graffiti, or even like American Pie, like any film where you are very aware of the music choices, and
the
yet
soundtrack is very deliberate.
You might buy the soundtrack. Like, look at like Dazed and Confused. Like, it's not necessarily just a film. It's also, or Everybody Wants Some from last summer. It's a movie that you're watching, and then you might buy the soundtrack, and it makes sense. Or like Suicide Squad, even that this film is going to sell. Yeah, maybe not Guardians number 2, but it's going to sell CDs probably more than it's going to sell actual tickets, because that's Edgar Wright. You know, he doesn't really have a big box office draw for some reason. I think it's going to stay that way. Like, Ant-Man would have changed that. But too bad that fucking happened in the same way that, you know, maybe the Han Solo movie would have been good, but Disney doesn't like actual auteurs. They like people that come in.
Well, he opened with the number 1 movie on Wednesday, so even though almost $6 million may not be that much, but I mean, hey, for an R-rated movie in the summer, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this has the potential to be his top-grossing movie.
It might. Yeah. I mean, the good news is Sony's going to win either way, because they have this weekend for sure. Next weekend they have Spider-Man, and then they have the Emoji Movie like 2 weeks after that. In between Spider-Man and Emoji is Planet of the Apes, and Emoji could easily take the first place crown from them the week after that. If not, they're a solid second. Like, there's no doubt about that.
They'll make money.
It can't
can't cost this that much.
No, Baby Driver's not going to be number 1.
No.
This week because
Emoji, I said.
I was going to say, because this week is Despicable Me. So
all right.
It's going to be. They can say the number 1 original movie of the week or of the summer, or they could say the top grossing rated R film. Like, there's ways that they can spin it.
I just want it to make more money than Transformers this weekend.
Oh, it will.
So. But I mean, can you believe this? By the way. There are the same exact amount of Edgar Wright movies as there are of not Transformers movies,
films.
Michael Bay directed Transformers films.
I can believe it. We'll talk about that later, because I did catch that this past
do.
week. But yeah, I like so much about this film. It is a solid watch. It is a great summer flick. It's a good date movie. It's a good action movie. The only thing that I didn't like about it, and I don't want to talk about it because this is a spoiler-free show, is the way it ends. I truly didn't like how almost rushed it felt, how they kind of cut off any possibility for a sequel just because.
I don't think this is that type of film at all.
It wasn't going to get a sequel probably, but I didn't like how things kind of were not rushed is the wrong word, but fell a little too quickly into place after a certain, like, right as soon as the third act began. Once the final chase scene, or not even chase, but once the final heist begins, it becomes a completely different movie. And there is, for a film like this, I think this is what the real thing is, just like in Bullet. When you have a film that opens with a great car stunt, there's like another one in the middle, there's an even better foot chase. That shouldn't have been a foot chase. It should have been another car chase. I wanted another one.
It was multiple things, but that was probably the high point of the movie for me, honestly.
It was a high point. It's like, how cool is it that this car movie just became a foot movie? But I wanted one more. I was anticipating one more, and you really only get 2.5 in this film.
I mean, honestly, maybe I'm just so jaded by car chases like that I just can't appreciate anything new now. Like, but for me, it was more about the character and how skilled of a driver that he was than it was about the car chases themselves. That I was,
but I wanted one more.
I mean, it's like he's skilled enough behind the wheel, but I didn't feel like, I don't know, maybe another chase would have been repetitive, but that foot chase was really, really something. Like I was really just freaking. That was probably the most hooked that I was while watching this.
I went to a theater with reclining chairs, not the one that I typically go to. I went to a Regal up in Palos Verdes, and I was like all the way reclined back. Once the movie started and the tires squealed, I sat all the way forward because I was so excited that like my knees were shaking.
Going right.
Just all of it, to be honest. Like, I knew just watching what he was doing with this WRX Impreza. Like, just watching it happen was so exciting. Just how fluid it was. The fact that it was a red car and like that's purposeful, you know? Like everything about it, like how like the fucking things he does. Like, this is like not a spoiler. The way he uses his handbrake to like kick the tire strip back at the cop car. Like, I was like in and of myself, just like laughing, like alone almost. Like I was having just a ball with this Mozart in the go-kart. Like what this kid can do, this just natural driver. That I hope that we get more movies like this, where like we can champion the car movie, because maybe it's 2 years old, but Mad Max Fury Road was like the last time we had a big car movie.
Not only that, I mean, if this
not
does
really
well,
about cars.
like, you know, hey, come on, $6 million for a Wednesday, that's got to be a good sign for a weekend, I think.
I hope it makes a lot. It really,
it's
hard
to
tell. It's 4th of July weekend.
I've seen trailers constantly for this, and granted, it was at a draft house, so you know that doesn't necessarily speak for America, but just I really think that this has the potential, like just from a marketing perspective, to really just hit people.
I hope so.
Like, especially, this generation of kids, like Edgar Wright made a full-on millennial movie. Like, he's been making them for a while. I'd like to say, like, at least, you know, there's an audience that grew up watching his stuff that has reached that age now where they can buy a ticket for this movie, and Ansel Elgort's enough of a star, like, just for this generation that he should be a hot ticket that I want to say he can pull people in.
It's like everyone here has enough name credibility for people to want to see it just for them. I mean, even if it's like the Small John.
This isn't like some off-putting British zombie movie, you know, that like may be an acquired taste for some people. This is totally accessible.
Feel good slice of Americana. Great for the summer, great that it's original, great that this is like a mid-budget film and yet it's being sold as a blockbuster, and that Sony would take this chance. And you know, it's a Sony movie, so I did notice a couple things. Kevin Spacey's nephew is playing a PS Vita. I got a good kick out of that shit. There's like plenty of Sony Walkman. Oh yeah, that whole scene is great. But like the real thing, and I like this is probably the high point of the movie for me,
Monsters Inc.
is
reference.
when no, I mean I did like that. That was a good line. But was actually that baby makes music, that he is a beat maker, and like that. Remember we were talking before we recorded, not this week but last week, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm looking for like a montage of like seatbelts clicking and like windshield wade, like to make a music, like to a symphony of edits, and I didn't get that. Instead I got a literal edit of the music, and like that scene alone is great. I would definitely buy this one for $1. Like, this is without a doubt a Goodwill dollar movie, but I think I need to see it again before I actually give it that name. It's a silver dollar for sure. It's just there's, for how great it is and how stylistic and just artful and how much heart is in it, it's like on the lower side of the Edgar Wright movie streaks for me. I think this might be not my least favorite, because that sounds mean, but his film that I like the least.
I don't know if I would say least favorite, but it's like I wouldn't ever want to say that. Like, this is a good movie.
Right?
I enjoyed it.
It's still a really good movie.
It's better than most other filmmakers' movies out there. There's a lot more just creativity, like, and just effort being put in there. But granted, like, Edgar Wright, like, his other movies are at a really high bar. So, like, it's not disappointment that I feel, because I still walked away seeing a lot of stuff that I really liked. And I mean, yeah, so it's like, it's just, I guess when you compare it to other stuff, that's when you sound like you're shit-talking it, and that's just not what I want to be doing. So, you know, yeah, it's a good summer movie. I enjoyed it. Like, I'd probably, I won't be talking about it that often. I won't, I won't be mentioning it in the top 10 years times, but I was just like, yeah.
Scenes.
It's
like,
a fun
I have a
movie to
feeling.
check out. And, like, really, it's, you know, like, there's a lot of funny moments. Like, these characters are really fun. I mean, Jamie Foxx can be really, really funny throughout. Even like,
he's gonna get an MTV movie.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, come on, Tequila alone, like
it's
that.
It's good to see Jamie Foxx.
I don't know if it's
back.
that or Bananas that are destined to be like the big moments. Tequila is the one for me.
This is one of those films where you're like, Jamie Foxx, I'm kind of happy that you haven't been making much lately, because I got to see you in your full glory again. Like, him and, like, Elza Gonzalez, who's been in nothing really besides Gem and the Holograms, and she's going to be in, like, Alita Battle Angel. Like, she has a big career in front of her. She just has great screen presence. Like, she when she's on the screen, you can't take your eyes off of her. Like she just has it. She has that it factor, and like her pairing with John Hamm and just everyone here, like they really bring their all. And Edgar Wright clearly, put a lot of love into the film. It just that doesn't necessarily shine through. Like you don't truly feel it. You just, this is kind of like on the surface kind of film. Like, oh yeah, this is a good movie. It's a fine movie.
There's decent enough chemistry between Lily James and Ansel Elgort, but there's not really a relationship that I'm rooting for. And even then, when you get to just that third act, it's like there's really cool sequences, but dramatically, I'm just not invested enough to really care.
That's
Jamie
also
Foxx can
a problem
be funny,
with
but
the
he's
villain.
Obviously painted as an over the top, like just bad guy, or just as an asshole. John Hamm is kind of written in a way where he has to like just take it over the top in the end. And Kevin Spacey threatening, and then just doesn't get to like doesn't really get to pay off like everything that came before in a big way. It's not a problem. It's just I don't know. It's kind of a missed opportunity, but there's still enough cool stuff in there that makes it unique from everything else. Like just the concept of the character of Baby, that's cool enough. Like right away alone, and it consistently maintains that intrigue throughout.
Like this isn't gonna have the summer vibes of 500 Days of Summer or Juno or like those or like
if it does, I'll be happy.
Like, those films that come out that become like a movement almost. Or like a snapshot of who we were at the time it's released. It's not going to be one of those.
I wish
but this is going
to,
right?
Kind
don't
of
you?
Kind of.
This is going to be one of those films though that when it it's Sony, so it might not end up on Netflix. But when it's on streaming or cable and it comes on, you're gonna watch like 20 minutes of it for sure. Like it's one of those put it on in the background while you're doing something else kind of movies because there's just this feeling to it, this bravado, this. It's like pure filmmaking. Like it really is one of those stories that you can only tell in a cinematic mode, and it does a great job of that. And that's kind of what cinema needs right now.
Edgar Wright's just one of those directors that he'll play with the medium. He won't waste the audience's time. He's going to give them something at least that's different.
I think this is different enough that I hope that if you're an Edgar Wright fan, you've already seen it. If you haven't, maybe you should, and if you don't know who he is, but you liked his other films, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, At World's End, or you're probably gonna like this. If you're not even aware of what the auteur theory is, you're gonna know just in the way that the camera work is done and this world is made and how big a part music plays that it's probably the same guy. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think it'd be impossible for someone to be disappointed. It wasn't amazing. And
that's the worst thing you can say about it. But
right?
Like, honestly, it's like at the end of the day, I'm just like, that doesn't bother me. Like, why?
It doesn't.
Should I care?
No, it doesn't.
Why should I even say that? Like,
if I had one more chase, I would have been satisfied.
I didn't need that. I mean, honestly, though, I get tired of like saying that like, it's not as good as some. It's like the movie is what it fucking is, and it's fucking cool.
If Sony threw $20 million more at this film,
I think it's good enough.
Oh, it is good enough, but they threw $20 million more, and they could have had one really big chase. It would have been, but at least it begins with one. Like I said, the first 20 minutes of this movie are...
You just want a Fast and Furious spin-off with this, don't you?
A little bit.
Not spin-off, crossover.
Sorta, yeah.
Yeah, someone's got to replace Paul Walker. Who knew it would be Ansel Elgort?
Before I get into the actual other movies I've seen, because it's been so long since our last episode, I did do something else musically inclined this week that just matches really well with Baby Driver. I got DJ Hero last week for $10. I got both games and a wireless turntable for my PS3. And it's, what do you want me to say? It's a rhythm game about mashing up music. Have you played DJ Hero?
No.
You played Guitar Hero, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the peak of Guitar Hero's popularity, I'm talking like Guitar Hero 3, Activision went, okay, let's also do the same thing for hip-hop music. And this is a really cool peripheral. Like, it has a turntable with 3 buttons on it that actually has, like, free movement that you can spin as fast as you want. There's a mixer on the left. There's also, like, a button and, like, a dial. And it's not complicated. There's not 5 buttons where you have to, like, move your hand real far. It's just, like, moving back and forth and up and down and do rewinds. The music is not great. Like, it's good. Like, the remixing is cool. It's just, you feel like a real badass just playing it. Like, truly. Like, I kind of felt like Baby when he was composing his soundbite, like, songs. Like, I felt like that. Like, I'm sitting there like, work. This is something that I'm going to probably play, like, every once in a while. Like, I've always loved music games. Even if it's just a game that features music real prominently, like Tetris. Like, last night alone, I was playing something called Crypt of the Necro Dancer, which doesn't seem like anything special. It's kind of like a modern day, like it's called a roguelike. Like it's always different every time you play it, but it's like a top-down dungeon crawler, kind of like the original Zelda, except without like grand exploration. Like you're just in the dungeon, survive. It's like more akin to like something like Binding of Isaac, except like I said, it's called Necro Dancer, and so your character, whose name is Cadence, actually you have to move and attack to the beat. Like they give you like a heartbeat on the bottom of the screen, so you know when you have to move. But it turns into a rhythm game. Something else I've been playing this week is fucking Sound Shapes, which is a platformer where you pick up items, and the more you pick up, the more the song progresses. And that game is played not with worlds, but with albums, and you play the grooves instead of levels. I've been playing Lumines. I've been playing this. Like I've been playing so many different music games. I was playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out earlier this week, which might just seem like a boxing game from the Nintendo. Yeah, but no, that is a rhythm game. It's like one of the first rhythm games. You have to punch to rhythm and avoid the punches to rhythm. To say that Baby Driver came at the perfect time is like not giving it enough credit. I've been really into music again. Like I've been like playing a lot of shit. And maybe that's because, I have a girlfriend. This isn't like the last girl that I talked about on the podcast some half a year ago. No, this is a real girlfriend. Like, if you go on Letterboxd and you actually look up my tag, Ashmally, that is every movie we've seen together. And, like, 80% of what I've seen since we've dated has been with her, which includes fucking all the movies I'm going to be talking about in a second here. Captain Underpants, Transformers The Last Night, RoboCop in 35mm at the New Bev, The Cobbler, The Hot Chick. Like the first movie we saw together was Before Sunrise. We'll see like anything together. It's kind of perfect, and she buys the ticket half the time. We're going to see Videodrome as a midnight at the New Bev tomorrow. Nice. That was her treat. I didn't even really care to go see it. She wanted to see it.
Why? Videodrome's cool, man.
It's not that. It's just it's a midnight, and I know I'm gonna have to drive.
Are you really going to care once you're there?
No. I mean, they also have The Fly later this month, but I'm not. I mean, I just saw that. I don't think I have.
Might be the same print I saw. Who knows?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think I have the mental energy to sit through that again, especially with, as a date. Like, that would be pretty traumatic. I had the Blu-ray. We can watch it whenever. That's when I bought the Blu-ray,
Yeah.
But, like, a quick rundown of those films I just mentioned. I saw both Captain Underpants and Transformers last night in 3D. 3D is great on both of them. Better on Captain Underpants just because it's 3D animation. The animation's great in that movie, but the film's even better. It's probably out of theaters now, especially because Despicable Me 3 just came out.
Yeah, that was the same weekend as Wonder Woman 2. So.
Yeah, it was. I saw both superhero films the same weekend. It was awesome. If you grew up reading the books, which I have most of them, I even got like this Funko Pop figure to commemorate our first date, which is kind of cute. Where is it? Oh, it's right there. No, if you grew up on the books, you're gonna love it. They have a Flip-O-Rama action sequence, which is fucking bonkers to think about. The voice acting is great. You got Nick Kroll, Thomas Middleditch, everyone's favorite black comedian, Kevin Hart. Yeah, you also got Ed Helms. Like, it's a good cast. It's real funny. Like, it's a bromance first and foremost, like a grade school bromance, and it's full of fart jokes. Like, what more can you ask for? It feels real good. There's some musical moments. I highly doubt anyone's gonna dislike it. Like, if you, it's seriously kind of like a Jane and Silent Bob movie for kids. It has that same kind of potty humor.
It's a weird way to put it.
But I think it's the right way to put it. It's not how I remember
the books at all, but sure, I'll go with it.
Well, I mean, there's no stoner humor. Like I said, it's for kids, like, it's mostly about grade school and how great it is to have a best friend. But it's over the top in a really good way. I really hope that they get a sequel because it was super cheap to make, and it made a ton of profit. Like, when it comes to home video, I bet you it's going to make even more. I would love to see like it come bundled with the first book, like as like a Blu-ray like combo pack.
I mean, this is also awesome. DreamWorks. I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of Netflix series. They might continue it that way and do it from each book.
Better than that, Universal Studios Captain Underpants attraction. Would love that. That would be awesome.
Is this the first Universal Studio was one, or are they still doing it through Fox right now?
This is Universal now, I believe. I'm not positive. That's something you could look into. I
was just wondering what logo you saw before it.
Well, I mean, I saw it about a month ago, but I don't remember a logo. I just remember seeing DreamWorks, so I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But this is a buy. This is a total. I'd buy that for $1. really fun. And maybe that's nostalgia talking because, like I said, I did read the books. I do still have them. But no, it was a great date movie. I was happy that we weren't alone, even though we went on a Tuesday. There was like 3 other families that went and saw it in 3D, mind you. So that means like the regular screenings were selling. But if it's still around you, especially if it's in 3D, it's definitely worth a matinee like Tuesday ticket. It's worth that $6-7. It was really good. Transformers, on the other hand,
before you move
I'm sure
on,
you
can
already
I just say
know.
one thing? Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
That stupid little, I don't know, maybe I thought I was being cute thing that I put in the intro when I said, and the latest Michael Bay masterpiece.
Yeah.
You know, at the start of this episode, I would have started it by saying, you know, like just referring to that one part, I just want to say fuck that this week. But obviously that didn't happen, so thank you for at least staying true to that mission statement in some form. Because I did 13 hours last time.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, you know, I got one, you got this one, so
that works.
Hey, it balances out. But yeah, please tell us your tale.
So yeah, just like Captain Underpants in 3D, this was also a date movie. I did buy this ticket instead of her though.
I'm sure it looked beautiful.
It did. I was supposed to catch an IMAX 3D, but we laxed it because it turned into like a big date. Like pretty much every Friday or Saturday like has been a big date with us. And so it started with us like going to a beer tasting. We bought this really nice like coffee stout that we haven't drank yet. Like it tastes like a cold brew coffee. It's fucking delicious. We're probably gonna drink it today. Then we went to the theater, but we were like 30 minutes late. Late enough that like and the ticket process messed up, whatever. We were just so lucky enough that, like I said, we didn't get the IMAX 3D. We got a standard 3D, and we didn't have to worry about like tickets. They almost actually gave us money back, which would have been awesome. Too bad it didn't happen. And then after the movie, like we got Korean barbecue with friends, and then we like went out for like a workout where I did like karaoke and dancing. Like it was a good date. Transformers was the worst part of the date. We like weren't taking it seriously after a certain amount because hey, how can you take? It's Mark Wahlberg in Transformers movie. I know you saw
like,
The Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like this is really mailing it in from like almost everyone, especially John Turturro. Not Anthony Hopkins. He's really good in this. Anthony Hopkins and also surprisingly Miranda Kerr. Both of them are great. Like the British cast is great, but like Josh Duhamel, he might as well not been in the fucking movie. I was expecting something, and he didn't bring it. This is totally writer's room era Transformers. You can tell that they're setting shit up. That, oh, here's a Dinobot movie, and here's a Cybertron movie, and here comes the Bumblebee spinoff. Like, you can just tell. But that's not the issue. What the real issue is, this might be the shortest Transformers movie like ever made at like
after
2 hours and 25
one.
minutes. It's like 5 minutes longer than the first one. You okay? It is just painful to watch now how far they've dragged this out, especially where the beats go in a thematic standpoint in terms of like the Witwicky family. That's all I'll say about that.
Well,
where it's that, like where the fuck is Shia LaBeouf type of thing. Like you get a picture of him in this movie, like the worst picture of all time. Like he looks goofy as shit, and it was just like, where is he? If there was any movie for him to come back for, it's this one. Instead they used fucking Mark Wahlberg. The one good thing that I can say about this movie is at least the Dinobots are in it throughout, and they're like the best part. It wasn't that horrible taste I had in my mouth from Age of Extinction where you see them on screen in the first 5 minutes, and then you literally wait 3 hours to see them again. Like, no, they are here consistently. There is like this young like Latina girl who's like introduced to the Transformers family who I really liked, but my date didn't, and I'll go with what she said because hey, she's actually of Latina heritage, so you know if she wasn't buying it, I guess I'm not supposed to either. But no, this is like so fucking lazy. The action beats are pretty much non-existent. There are some really cool looking cars. Like there's a Lamborghini, I think there's a Bugatti, there's like a new Corvette because of course, but no, like there's like no car like scenes anymore. Like there's no stunt pieces where they're driving. Like there's a couple, but not really. The actual Transformers fighting is pretty much not there. This is like the only thing it has going for it, to be honest, is that it is still Michael Bay eye candy. There is a good amount of like sex, like fucking sexual drive here, and there's a couple good jokes, but the jokes feel forced. Like they're looking at the camera going, "Hey, don't you want to laugh at that one? That one's kind of good, right?" Like it's
that's
one
Michael
of those.
Bay, isn't it? Though, like he's desperate.
No,
for
this is
every time. Come on.
This is like a next level Michael Bay, though. This is him going, "This is definitely the last one. I have enough money to never work again. Now I don't need to never do another Transformers." But
and then he wants to make another 13 Hours or Pain and Gain, and they'll be like, "Well, you got to do another Transformers 6 for us."
No, they're not going to do another one.
13 Hours was a year ago. Pain and Gain was a year before Transformers 4. Like that really just goes to show how quickly these movies are shoved out after he does his personal projects. You know that he kind of just doesn't give a shit anymore. Like I mean, Transformers 4. The impression I got was like, wow, the action is lazy. The best thing that he has going for it is that he made it look actually kind of beautiful.
I really like Transformers 4 for what it was. Like, if you cut an hour off that film, I think it'd be a really good movie. But it did feel like an epic, which was, like, necessary, like, as a refresher in the middle of a franchise, like, introducing a new protagonist and him being introduced to the Autobots. But, like, the Autobots aren't even, like, this film's not even about the Autobots. This movie is called The Last Knight, and as a spoiler, The Last Knight is...
Mark.
Yes. So it's a Mark Wahlberg movie that features Autobots, which is like it's just like it has like Suicide Squad like fucking like moments. Like it is such a weird film. Like there's a reason that it didn't do well its opening weekend. That this is the least grossing Transformers film of all time. But then at the same time, this is more of their international era because it did really well in China, and that's all that matters anymore anyway. So I don't know. The 3D's fine. I know you'll watch it eventually. But this is a total pass.
I don't know.
This isn't even a dime a dozen.
I feel like I'm just completely comfortable missing it now if I hear it's about just building up this universe that I don't care about anymore.
Like it doesn't seem forced. It's not heavy-handed, and it's still a Transformers movie at heart. Like Optimus Prime, still has his out-row dialogue where you kind of like get the feels, but you wish Linkin Park was playing, but they're not. Like you still have that going for you, and it is connected. It's not kind of like thrown away. Like it kind of does the Batman vs Superman thing where they go to Chicago and you see that debris. Like you see the fucked up city. Like there's enough here that's going on that like you can kind of feel the stakes. It's just it's stale.
Well, I mean, the coolest idea to me that I would have gone with, no
the
matter how
batshit
awesome. Insane it is that
the King Arthur stuff is awesome.
Or the Nazi
awesome.
Stuff. Like, I mean, that's kind of the stuff that I really liked.
You don't really get Nazi stuff. That's like,
well, I mean, just like playing with history, like that was something where, as ridiculous as you might call it for Transformers 3, the stuff with the moon landing, that was where I was like, fuck it, you're going with this?
You get a reference to that here, too.
Yeah, and I totally dug that when they did that.
No,
you
get
if you're going to be that ridiculous, just fucking play with it and go for it.
You get a Dark Side of the Moon thing, or whatever you call it, reference in this one. Dark of the Moon. Yeah. Like, they reference Dark of the Moon and Revenge of the Fallen, like, in a good way. Like they really do. Like it feels part of the same universe. Like you can tell that, and Age of Extinction for that matter, and the first film. Like
it's all building up to this.
It does kind of feel that way. It's like not really building up to this because it
doesn't Fast Five it, sadly.
Yeah, like as big as the stakes are, you don't really feel them, and that's the problem with the film. Like it doesn't feel like a Michael Bay. Like it's like this is Michael Bay literally mailing it in. Which is a shame. Like because I wanted to see it. I did see it. It was the first time I'd seen Transformer movie since the first one, and it's just in my experience, the first one was the only one worth watching. Even if I saw this one in 3D, like it was the first one. Well, technically, I saw Dark of the Moon in theaters too, but that was for Gary's class.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
that's a shame because that one is actually really good in 3D. Like that's the one where he really started playing with it.
The 3D's good here. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what he's doing in 3D. Bay's one of the last guys to like actually take the time to shoot in 3D and try to get it right and play
James
with
Cameron.
Yeah, no, but like I mean, working right now, like James Cameron.
He's working. He just works a lot slower because he puts out
even
better
Ridley
work.
Scott didn't shoot Covenant in 3D,
which is bullshit. That's why I didn't see it. I think that's why we
what
both
happened
didn't see
there?
It.
Like I thought he was going to go without it ever again, and now it didn't get released that way or shot that way. We'll find answers soon enough.
Yeah. But like I said, the other film that I saw this week, and then we can talk about what you did. I saw The Cobbler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we also watched
my memory because I really did not like that film, and I thankfully blocked it out.
She did this thing where, like, I was talking in passing, like she was asking me like what my birth date is, and I was like, oh, I share a birthday with Adam Sandler, and like I was really happy about that, and I was like, oh yeah, I share a birthday with Zoe Kazan too. And like we were talking about in passing, and then she Googled it. She was like, "Oh, you're born September 9th." I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, you're a Virgo." Like she was like doing like some astrological sign shit. And because of that, I just feel like I have to watch Adam Sandler movies with her because she was like, "Oh, fuck him, he's a loser." I was like, "No." And so, like I said, we saw The Hot Chick like 2 nights back. We've seen The Cobbler. I know for a fact we're going to see The Meyerowitz Chronicles or whatever it's called. I know that Punch Drunk Love is on Netflix this upcoming month, and I had already told her, like, you have to see this one. That's a good Adam Sandler movie. So we'll probably see that as well. I don't know. And so The Cobbler was kind of a joke. That was the same day as Transform. No, what day was that? We already had seen a movie. I think that's the same day as RoboCop. And so we watched RoboCop, like a good movie. And mind you, during that screen, I know you already saw this on Letterboxd, it was the double feature with Starship Troopers. It was the 30th anniversary for RoboCop, 20th anniversary for Starship. And so Casper Van Dien and the other male lead came out and did like a Q&A, and they actually answered a question of mine about Showgirls. And I learned this factoid that I don't even know if the internet knows. During Showgirls, Verhoeven films like basically like a proof of concept for Starship Troopers, like a little like action like 5-minute short or something that showed exactly what he wanted to do. Showgirls was made in 95, Starship came out in 97, and apparently, because like even whatever his name, Edward Newbringer, I forget the other actor's name, he didn't even know about this, but that's how he sold the film to Casper Van Dien and to Sony and to everyone, because he was like, they were making this joke during the Q&A when they're like talking about like, oh, being naked on screen or doing this, doing that, like fighting like this big beach ball, and it's in the back of their mind going, RoboCop, 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 do it for RoboCop. And so when it got to me, I had the last question of the night. I said, "Oh, so your mantra of RoboCop, RoboCop, RoboCop. I wonder if ever in passing on set, if you had the reverse feeling of making a bad movie and you went Showgirls, Showgirls, Showgirls." And then he was like, no, like, and like they shared stuff because like Casper Van Dien was on. Not Cash Van Dien, the other guy was on Saved by the Bell, so he actually worked with Elizabeth Berkley and like shit like that, and just a whole different like and he was also dating what's her name, because her career is dead, Denise Richards during Starship Troopers. So there's like some fun history there, but I want to find, I wonder like if there's like a Starship Troopers like deluxe edition DVD, if you can find this short, or maybe it's on YouTube or like Video Motion or like somewhere on the internet.
There's probably some bonus features out there with something.
I would hope so, because it sounded really cool, Might go back to the new bed because they have Total Recall later this month, and hey, that's my second favorite Verhoeven flick. And Arnie, man, you can't say no to Arnie.
I keep wanting to say that like Running Man is Verhoeven, but it's not.
No, it's not, but that's the double feature.
Though, like I mix them up all the time.
Yeah, that's the double feature, Total Recall and the Running Man. So yeah, we saw The Cobbler because it's on Netflix, and I knew the premise. It'd been my instant queue for a very long time. I was like, okay, this is Tom McCarthy, it's Adam Sandler, and he puts on shoes, and he becomes that person. And I told her that, and she was telling me how much she likes bad movies. I was like, okay, we're going to watch this one. And we both really fucking liked it. Like, we laughed a lot. Like, we got touched in the feels. And the reason is, and I don't think the internet understands this, like, maybe Adam Sandler was in Don't Mess with the Zohan, which I haven't seen, and that's kind of like him being an action star. But this is him being a fucking Jewish superhero. He's the Cobbler. His superpower is that he can become someone else through the shoes. I loved it. I loved the concept. Like him eating pickles throughout the movie. Just the cast. The fact that you have like Method Man and fucking Dustin Hoffman and obviously Adam Sandler, but you get like these like people that you don't even know that he steps in the shoes of, and they become these characters that are like kind of endearing, like especially like the one that's dead. It's so fucking weird, especially given that this was made like 6 months before The Spotlight came out, like this is the same guy that did The Station Agent.
Like that was the big thing when Spotlight came out. It was like, okay, you're redeemed for The Cobbler now because we have no idea what the fuck that was.
Did he do The Visitor also?
Yeah.
So he has 3 really fucking great films, and then he has
and then
this,
you think, oh, he's going to do something with Adam Sandler. Like this was the year where it's like Adam Sandler teams up with Tom McCarthy, teams up with Jason Reitman. He should. Oh, there should be some good movies. Both of them are fucking like just critical.
I like them both.
Yeah, I like
I
Men,
like
Women, and
them
Children,
both.
but
Like, this is Adam Sandler.
this is so much worse than the Happy Madison
That's what's
stuff.
No, that's what's weird. It's like, this is over the top, yes, but there's a lot of heart here. Like, it doesn't feel like a Happy Madison movie. This is actually Adam Sandler, like, reserved, like in the same way in
That's the thing.
Men,
He
Women,
plays
Children,
it,
and
he
also
plays it like
Hopefully
it's
Meyerowitz.
a drama, but yet there's like no
'Cause
humor.
it is a
There's no
drama.
humor that I can connect with.
No, it's weird fucking humor. Like, I really dug it. Like, I'm gonna buy this one for $1. Like, this is totally something that I want to own now with the rest of Tom McCarthy's films, because he's one of my favorite filmmakers that I've just barely realized makes all these movies. Like, every time I've seen one of his films, maybe Station Agent being the weaker of the bunch, I'm like, God damn, that's a good film. Like, I need to watch this one again at some point in my life. And The Cobbler is one that I want to watch again soon, just because it's so fucking stupid. Like, I want a sequel, like The Cobbler Returns.
Oh my god! Well, it's not going to happen. You know that.
I don't
world
know
hates
that.
This movie.
What if one of Netflix's Adam Sandler films is a Cobbler sequel? Imagine. Tom McCarthy worked on 13 Reasons, so he's got a relationship with them too. Just saying, I would definitely watch that shit. Given how shitty the other Adam Sandler Happy Madison Netflix films are, this would be like right up there and a good one. And I think it would be a yes.
Yeah,
I hope it's the one after next.
I cannot passionately slam on this movie right now because I honestly
haven't
just
seen it
can't,
so
for the
long,
life
yeah.
of me, remember it. Like I saw it probably like 2 years ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Did I log it on Letterboxd? Did I have Letterboxd?
Oh, you
then?
totally
I'm not
did.
Sure.
You wrote a long
Did I?
review. Yeah.
Did I? Okay.
Super negative review. It's like 2 stars. It's very long.
All
it's
right,
like a
then,
paragraph
yeah,
and a half.
It's all probably on there because I
Yeah.
really can't for the life
No,
of
I
me
just
remember
like
what I put there.
understand that it's a bad movie, but life needs bad movies sometimes. Like, you need something that you can get in bed and just laugh at before going to sleep. Like, and that was one of these. Like, we were talking over it, like quoting it. Like, we had a good time. Like, she kind of rolled her eyes after the fact, but I was like, no, I really like that one. Just the way it ends, especially. Like, it sets it up looking for a sequel. Like, and I want that sequel in the way that I generally do for like shittier, like under the radar type of films. Like, you know how badly I would watch that Biodome sequel if
my God.
if like that ending actually panned out. Like, not now. It would be bad. Anytime you wait this long for a sequel, it's
It would
bad.
just be
But
repetitive.
if, like,
It wouldn't work.
oh, for sure. But, whatever. I would still... fucking inconvenient sequels coming out this summer, okay? That should not be a thing. When you win a Nobel Peace Prize...
You know why it's a thing.
Of course it's a thing. But when you win a Nobel Peace Prize for your documentary, you don't make a sequel for it. I don't see March of the Penguins 2. You know?
I mean,
happen.
Inconvenient Truth and March of the Penguins, I think that's a completely different thing. Because Inconvenient Truth, they're trying to just cram us down with an environmental message.
I saw
which
the trailer. It looks, quote-unquote good. It just...
We're not doing enough. That's basically
yeah,
the whole
it's
thing. Yeah.
we warned you 10 years ago.
It's in the title. It's like,
been
hey, we
10
shouldn't
years.
be making this, but we are.
It's like, it's been 10
Get
years.
your shit together.
Yeah.
It's been
I don't
11
know.
years.
It's been a while. What'd
Yeah,
you check
I've
out
not
this
even
week?
seen an Inconvenient Truth, but
Don't.
yeah, what I see when I was in California, I did go to an old theater that I went to, and I didn't plan on seeing this, but because of those circumstances, I went and saw Cars 3. Because I was just like,
you see
hey,
in
this is
3D?
the theater, yeah. But
Cool.
this was the theater where I saw the first Cars ad, and I think I ended up in
That's
the same
fair.
exact room. So I was like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
why the fuck not? Yeah, yeah, I saw it in 3D. Not great, but not bad either. There is some cool stuff there. It's
Talladega Nights, right?
sure. I mean, not really.
The
actually.
Ballad of Lightning McQueen.
It's like this is probably the least interesting Cars movie, though. To me, it's not the worst one. Like I actually kind of enjoyed Cars 2.
I gotta
ridiculous.
ask. I'm gonna see Cars 3 on Netflix. Do they at least reference Cars 2? Or is that like just a film that didn't happen? Like they forget that
This is
these
pretty
guys
much Cars
were...
2, actually. Like
Really? They're like they reference that they're secret agents?
Yeah, Cars 2 like could be completely retconned because like Cars 2 is not really a Lightning McQueen story. It's a Mater story.
It's a Mater
this
movie.
one is like there's like enough of a gap in there that it's just okay. He the first one ends with him finishing the season as a rookie, and then he has a racing career that goes on after that.
Yeah,
and then this
international
could
career.
literally pick up after that because it's been 11 years since the first Cars.
And he goes back to Radiator Springs, which is the big thing.
He is there, like that is a part of it, but it's more about him trying to make a comeback just after a disastrous crash in a season. Like there was that first
Ricky
trailer
Bobby.
that came up where it was so like heavy and dramatic. everything you know will change. This movie is not like that at all, by the way.
Of course not. It's a Cars movie.
Yeah, it's a kid's movie, and it's actually pretty fun. It ends up being more about him and his relationship with his trainer, though. And, the movie itself, it's okay, actually. It's for kids. It really does just hit on the heartstrings, though, at the very, very end, and the emotional payoff is worth it. But, I think that's more of just Pixar's skill of just, knowing how to tell stories, knowing what beats they need to hit, knowing how to build their characters, and then they do earn their payoff. This is a good one for kids, I don't think anyone really needs to see it. Yeah, it's like, it's fine. They're even the first Cars, which I liked at the time. I don't know how I'd feel about it now if I'd be as positive on it. Too. But it's like, it is a generic story that's really well told, and that even if it has some cliches on there, it earns...
Who'd have thunk that Cars would be the franchise that makes the most money, both in terms of box office and merchandise for Pixar?
Because Cars are cool.
I know Cars are cool. I mean, Baby Driver is proof of that.
Toy Cars as a kid.
I got a toy car in front of me right here.
Cars came out,
I got one of those. I got one of those Rocket League cars right here. You can hear it. You can hear the tires. Look.
Yeah, I mean, cars just sell as toys, man. It's foolproof. But I mean, yeah, this is a good movie. Just kind of okay when you're watching it, and then it has a good payoff, and it's not enough for me. Maybe it was a waste of a 3D ticket because I didn't need to spend for that money on that. But hey, it'll be fine as a Netflix stream. You can definitely wait for that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it on Netflix.
The complete opposite, whereas Cars was just an okay movie with a really good ending. Here's a really good movie with a total shit ending that turned it into a shit movie.
Baby Driver already happened.
I saw Collateral Beauty.
Something else?
Yeah.
Oh really? Why?
It wasn't bad. As it was going on, it was it was a pretty good fable. It really
Do you remember talking about that film when it was being cast on 2 Cents?
I don't.
It was it was the first 30 episodes. It was every week there was someone new added to it. It was oh, and Helen Mirren's here, and now it's Will Smith.
Really big,
and now it's and who directed it? It was someone big.
What's his name? I think it's Alan Loeb, or maybe that's the guy that wrote it. The guy that directed it, I don't
remember now.
I can't remember. Not that big. I know he's got a couple of other titles, but this movie, man. Just I gotta say, watching it, it was almost kind of like a cool sort of Frank Capra, It's a Wonderful Life kind of fable. As it started, it was just it was working for a while. I could totally have seen why this came out at Christmas, because it definitely had that feel, and
Christmas
I was
movie. Well,
I was digging it. It's not like you have to watch it during Christmas, but it would have really worked as that. And it wasn't it wasn't amazing or anything, but it was actually pretty good. There was some storylines in there that I thought were pretty hokey and not working, or just half-assed. There's this thing with Michael Pena who's supposed to be dying in the movie. But he just kind of coughs a few times, and then they have conversations are you okay? No, actually, I'm really, really sick. And it's not exactly that well developed, but sure, why not? What really makes this movie shit the bed is that there's a twist at the end.
Of course there's a twist.
And that twist just fucking ruins everything that came before.
I feel
it is
I haven't seen
fucking bad that is that must have pissed off so many people that they just trashed on the movie, and I can't blame them. It really is a shame, because it's the movie was doing well enough, and then it just fucking shot itself in the head.
I haven't seen this one or the film that I'm going to say it reminds me of, but given that they both star Will Smith and came out at the same time in the year, I feel like Collateral Beauty and 9 Months are the same movie, or 9 Lives, I mean.
Oh man,
the feel-good, Christmassy, almost Hallmark, but not quite. We're trying to teach you some life lessons, but not really, because hey, it's a shit film that almost no one saw.
It does have a cool idea behind it, though, because it is a guy that's just sending these therapeutic letters to love, to time, and to death, and just that idea works. There is something kind of, there's this sort of magical, sort of holiday spirit vibe to it. This has an idea where it's yeah, Frank Capra could have done something with this, and then
they fuck it up.
It's kind of just doing it, and then there are all these other storylines going on with all these other characters, which I I didn't really think that much of, but they didn't hurt the movie. But it really is like the final moments where it was like, wow, fuck you, movie, for pulling that shit. Like, it just made me realize, like, I don't want to spoil it, but totally ruins any investment that you had in the main character before, and just changes everything, and it makes no fucking sense either. Like, just I have not been this pissed off by an ending in such a long time. Like, have you seen the Robert Pattinson movie Remember Me?
No, but I know the ending.
You know it was like that, where
you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like, really? That's what you're fucking doing? Like, you're treating that as a fucking twist with Remember Me, like the specific year that is set
especially
in?
the year.
Why the fuck would you do that? Like, that is such bullshit. You know, this is on that level of like just fucking terrible endings. Might be worth seeing just for the sake of that ending alone, if you want to see a really terrible ending, but no, just fuck this movie.
Avoid
it really
it.
pissed me off, and it's because it was pretty good for the most part.
What else? So you did Cars 3,
yeah, the last thing,
the Remember Me sequel.
Yeah, 2 New York Stories that just shit the bed. I guess there's not much to say about this one. I saw The Girl on the Train.
I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, not
good mystery or not really.
I guess in print, yeah, but as far as execution, I mean, not really. Like, the best takeaway, just for this movie, like, because it does focus on 3 different women and like, I guess I appreciated this more, like, as how it starts and then how you focus on the lead later on, like, just, how that you can present different perspectives, and these characters each want something that the other one has, thinking that their lives are perfect, but then you see the other perspective and it's not the case at all. Like, they're just as fucked up, maybe even more so in some ways than the other person is. Just, them trying to like build up that appearance of a perfect life, but then when you get real down underneath, you see all the chinks in the armor, and that aspect of it I really liked. And then when you get to the movie itself, it has a decent mystery, but I don't know, its execution, I
started it a while ago, and I had to turn it off. So,
it might be in the direction or something. I mean, this is the guy that did The Help and the James Brown biopic. May not be the most inspired choice, I guess.
I mean, I finally saw the trailer for Murder on the Orient Express, and I was like, the song choice, the fact that they use Imagine Dragons, kind of makes that.
I still feel like I have to see that movie, and
do.
Every time I hear that song, I think of that trailer, but then.
Yeah,
that fucking took me out of it. Like,
yeah, it took everyone out of it. I really hope that
it is like, if
the
you think about it, like,
awesome though.
Yeah, rewatching that trailer, it's like, you know what, the beat to that song works if you don't know what it is, but then they start playing the lyrics,
which
Believer over the title. It's like, Believer has nothing to do with the fucking title.
Outside
of
that, don't do that, why try to sell a period murder mystery with a contemporary song?
I don't know. Bring in the young ones. Like, it's a pretty high budget movie though, but.
Oh, big budget. Just the cast. Just the cast.
Oh, yeah.
There was this hilarious thing that happened on Reddit the day that trailer dropped, where someone was like, I can't believe this is it. And then the thread was like, what if it was a Seinfeld theme? And it was just like 20 different versions of the final like seconds with a different song instead.
That's the thing now?
And they all, well, it's probably not a thing anymore, but you could probably find this Reddit thread. And it was the funniest. Better. Yeah, like anything. Everything fucking worked better. It was just ridiculous. It was so bad. Like, it was almost as bad as Triple X Return of Xander Cage. Except, I guess that wasn't actually bad because it's getting a sequel. Triple X 4 has been greenlit. That's coming out sometime soon, which I'm excited about. I will go see that one in 3D. I will see that one in 3D. I will see it in theaters, okay? Hopefully Triple X, like, Xander Cage actually is in the star, or, like, he gets kind of, like, he passes the baton, because the best part about Xander Cage was its cast. We get in like the Donnie Yen and the Tony Jaa and that Indian chick whose name I don't know. They got like a UFC fighter. You got what's her name? Rebel Rose. Like there's so many different people and they're all really good. Samuel L. Jackson, Neymar Jr., Tony Collette. Like there's just so much going on. Like it is very much an international movie in terms of where it's set place. The racial makeup of the cast, the production team, like everything about it feels international. Like it's a multicultural film to the utmost level. Like there's a reason why it was an international success, and there's a reason why it's getting a sequel too.
Bring Ice Cube back.
Maybe they did. maybe you got to see it to find out.
Maybe. Okay, yeah. Props on cheating by creeping in a fourth on your end there.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not cheating. I'm just saying that one's bad. I think you'll like it, though. I think you should see it. The real thing...
Yeah, I'll get to it maybe. I don't
know.
Maybe.
The real end of the show, as always, is what I bought this week. And I bought a ton of media. I need to slow down because I got a new credit card. And so I'm buying a lot of things on PlayStation, and VR streams are going to continue soon. I finished the Farpoint campaign. You can watch my Let's Play of that. I think I've exported them all to YouTube. If I haven't, they're going to be there. And there's like a couple things missing in between, but hey, for the most part, the whole thing's there. So VR things are going to continue. The Spider-Man experience I'm actually going to download like today, and so maybe I'll stream that. I know it's real short though, like 5 minutes, because it's not a game, it's just a promotional tie-in. One of the things that I bought this week is going to be my next Debt to Cinema pick. I bought Detention finally on Blu-ray, so week after next, that's going to be my movie. What's yours for next week?
I
know what you did
last summer, right? Yeah.
So after I know what you did last summer, it's gonna be Detention, which kind of works. But I bought a ton of shit, and for one reason in particular, why I started buying things, Star Video, the neighborhood video store that I literally grew up around. I might not went too much because we had cable, but I always saw it on the way home. Like, I still kind of live in the neighborhood that I was raised in, and it's been here my entire life, probably longer. They're going out of business. Today is actually the last day their doors are going to be open, and because of that, they're having to go in out of business sale. And I felt like, just thanking them for just the good deed, or not even good deed, but their business, for being around the local video store for this long into the streaming game and into the Amazon game. And I felt guilty because when I was there, I was looking at some of the movies and scanning them on Amazon to see if they were cheaper. I ended up buying 3 though, so I don't feel too guilty. I got Clueless, Blue Valentine, and That Awkward Moment on Blu-ray. I almost got Nebraska instead, but I didn't. Instead, I got a poster for Nebraska. I also got a poster for Chronicle. So, if I ever do meet Max Landis, I'm like, hey, can you sign this? No, I'd probably get him to sign a comic book instead that I have. But I did go to the Goodwill yesterday. Like, Clueless, I'm pretty excited about because I haven't owned it. Now I do. I got it for a good deal too, $7. Well, actually, it was $6. But I went to the Goodwill yesterday, not the outlet that I go to, because I did go to the outlet last week and I got some good stuff. Like, I got the Band of Brothers VHS box set for 10 cents. I got 16 Candles on VHS, which is my first John Hughes film. I got like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy audiobook on CD by Douglas Adams. Like, that one's probably worth a lot of money. I got like a 1987 Summer Olympic, like periodical, which is cool. A couple other things. But what I really got this week, I got yesterday. I went to a standard Goodwill. I got 3 great DVDs. I got Umberto D and the Royal Tenenbaums on Criterion. And I also got Magnolia in New Line's Platinum Series, which has like an awesome fold out. It's 2 discs. It comes with a slip case. It has like the rose, Magnolia on the cover is actually embossed, and you can like feel it on the cover. It's awesome.
Nice.
I don't think I'll ever watch Umberto D again, but I got it for $3. So Criterion movie in good condition at $3 you can't beat. But Royal Tenenbaums, I was so excited to get because that one is out of print. And it's one of the ones that I've always wanted ever since my grandma
They have it
let
on
me.
Blu-ray too, so...
Well, it doesn't have the same...
The version is different, though,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't have the same casework. Like, the slipcase on this, when the actual case is inside the slipcase, it looks like it's a book. It looks like it's like a diary. Like, who has the book in the movie? Gwyneth Paltrow's. I know one of the characters has the book, and it looks like that book. It just does, which is cool. And just the artwork on it is really awesome. Like I said, my grandma had it because it was originally released only on Criterion. It was like a Chase and Amy type of deal, and then they stopped doing that. And I think the reason for that is that this is a Touchstone movie, so Disney probably didn't want to re-up on that. But I mean, I got it for $6. I paid $15 for 3 awesome DVDs, which is a lot more money than going to the Goodwill and getting, because they lowered their price. Now it's $10 for $1. So I'm gonna end up buying. I'm gonna need another bookshelf soon. That's how many. And good thing they sell bookshelves also. But yeah, if you guys haven't paid attention, we actually killed one of our shows last week. 2 Cents, our new show, is no longer on air. And because of that, we actually have to do ads. And so I guess you can put this ad somewhere in the show.
That's right.
I don't know where.
We didn't discuss how we would do that either, but yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, you can edit it, you know. But yeah, we did kill 2 Cents after 100 episodes. You can listen to those if you like. Now they're like a snapshot of history instead of a new show delayed. And what I'm gonna pitch this week is the Goodwill. It's a place that I go to frequently, like not on a daily basis, but probably like every 10 days or so. I go to actual stores, I go to the outlets, I look up clothes and like housewares, but mostly what I buy is media. I find myself stumbling into the movies, the DVDs, the Blu-rays, the video games, books on occasion. VHS is something that I got into recently, but home furnishings. Well, I have 1, 2, 3 different pieces of... No, 4, because 3 cabinets and a couch that I've got from the Goodwill at a price that I can afford. It's not breaking the bank. Like, as someone that works basically minimum wage, who doesn't have a lot of time to buy all the things I want, they are able to offer it to me because it's donated by the graces of people that are better off or just don't want it for whatever reason. And, you know, I return the favor. I do donate things to the Goodwill fairly frequently for how much I own, usually clothes. And so I've made like 2 donations in the last year. I go way more than that, but it just makes me feel good. Like, I don't think Goodwill is across the country. I know it's mostly a Southern California thing, or at least it's the Southern California Goodwill. But if you have a Goodwill around you and you want to get movies at a discount, it's the place to go. Like, you really can, just for $3, get yourself one of your favorite movies. Like what I almost bought yesterday, which I probably can go back right now because I didn't know the pricing. I thought it was $6 for everything. It ended up being $3 for a standard disc, $6 if it's a dual disc. And so I'm going to go back. They had Love and Basketball as a snap case. They had Evil Dead in its original printing. And they also had Swingers. So I'm probably going to get those 3, and maybe I'll find something else today. And I don't know, I'm just at this age now where all the movies that I love that I've never bought, I'm going, no, I kind of really want to own these now. Because it's too much of a hassle to go, oh, is it on Netflix? Is it on Amazon Prime? Is it on HBO? Let me check. Or maybe I'll just download it real fast and delete it. No, when it's only $3 and you know it's something you love, like, it's worth the money. And better than that, it's worth giving the money to the Goodwill. It is basically giving to charity. Goodwill not only employs people in their business, like ranging from truckers to people that work at the donation stands and also the retail itself. But they also do like things like helping you with your car and like food banks, and it's so many things. Like, it is probably it's better than even the Salvation Army in terms of what they do for the community, and you can get things at a bargain. It is like the epitome of a thrift store without being hip. Like, it truly helps a lot of people in the community on both sides of the coin. And so if you've never been to one or you don't like things secondhand, maybe you should change your opinion, because I'm going to start posting more and more pictures of my finds. And if you're jealous, hey, it's not a secret. Find your local Goodwill, support them, and you're going to help other people out in their way. Thanks for listening. We hope it's been a pleasure.
We're also on Debt to Cinema, where one or both of us crosses a title off our list of shame.
You can find all of our content at dollarreviews.net. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook at Dollar Reviews.
We're available on iTunes, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, and constantly looking to expand to other platforms.
If you listen somewhere we're currently not available, you'd like to contribute some talking points, send a Death to Cinema request, or even if you just want to laugh at us, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media or send an email to brian@dollarreviews.net.
Or you can email me as well, steve@dollarreviews.net.
You can follow me personally on Twitter at Brian Gillis, that's BryonGillis, and now you know how to spell the email too. And also under the same name on the Love You site Letterboxd, which acts as my film diary, where I rate films I'm watching, write the occasional review, and even sometimes compile lists.
You can also find me on Twitter at S_MTX, and also follow my film diary at Letterboxd under the same name, where I log everything I watch, and sometimes write brief reviews.
That's it for this week. Until next time, keep the change.